Hello, Divine Souls, and welcome to my channel, Journey of Soul Mastery. I am your host, Rebekah Cortez. If you're new to this channel, the emphasis is empowerment, empowering your states of existence. The focus of this video is, I am not running out of time. Let's get started. People most commonly operate under the illusion that they are running out of time. This infectious mindset is not just subject to a specific age group, although the nagging pull does intensify as we get older if we're still plugged into the mundane, ego-driven programming that keeps us imprisoned to the methods and timestamps of achievement outlined in strict accordance with the third dimensional plane of this world. One day you wake up and you experience this overwhelming internal panic that nags you like a screaming echo. And the more you listen to it, the more you sink into the mindset that you're a failure because you have not hit the marker of expected achievements on the success pole according to this third dimensional viewpoint. We start to experience the conditioning and dark programming of conformity and compliance as children. And it's utterly disempowering to our potential of creative expression. And this screaming echo only intensifies as we mature into adulthood. This ego-driven third dimensional mindset totally discredits the potential we have when we're choosing to follow our authentic expression and break free from the standard blueprint of what has been established as quote-unquote successful. Too many of us are imprisoned in this never-ending loop of abandoning our unique expression and abilities of what resonates in our hearts and what has meaning and purpose, only to follow a generic standard of what will be approved and accepted because it falls in line with the routine outline of what we have been conditioned to think is outstanding acts of achievement. Anything that sacrifices authentic flow, expression, and truth will always be substandard in the long run and will leave us experiencing states of discontentment and will drain the joy right out of our spirit. The funny thing about success is if people were truly honest with themselves and they had no opposition and they could choose to follow what resonates in their heart as purpose, meaning, and fulfillment, the standard timeline and modeled outline of how success and achievement are defined would fly right out the window in the mindsets of humanity. The element of time is the largest illusion because it was only meant to serve one purpose, a beginning and an end. Such is the life here. Everything has a beginning and everything has an end. But time should never be equated to the concept that it is working against us in the spectrum of success or achievement. We are the masters of our own realities of existence. How this relates to the topic is that we only think we're running out of time when we're stuffing ourselves into the tiny box of conformity to comply with the expectations of the third dimensional mindset and abandoning our authentic expression to settle for an average life that will never feed our spirit. We are subjected to conditioning that only promotes us moving further and further away from our hearts and what feels natural and expected to succumb to being an invisible robot that is so programmed to just get in line and follow the programming, and we disconnect from our authentic voice, our authentic expression of unique abilities, all for the sake of participating in a never-ending game of chasing our tails in the pursuit of a definition of achievement and success that doesn't even make us happy. We all scramble around trying to figure out how to squeeze into a time frame of how the world defines personal achievement, and we always feel like we're running out of time to complete all the things we are conditioned to believe we must complete in a specific allotted time frame, or we're judged as being failures according to the third dimensional way of thinking. We always get a pat on the head when we fall in line to pursue paths that fall into the structure of what is perceived as quote-unquote normal or respectable. But as soon as an individual tries to break free and go against the grain and follow their hearts, and only pursues what has meaning and fills their unique heart with joy, like we're supposed to do, that same individual is immediately categorized as a lost cause, or irresponsible, and doomed for failure. This is one of the biggest lies we have been subjected to for countless generations throughout numerous centuries. The greatest truth is that we were never supposed to live this existence as slaves imprisoned to serve as cogs in a wheel of production. Much of humanity is truly lost because they have completely disconnected from their hearts because of the detachment from the organic, energetic flow of connectedness that is only experienced when we're free to pursue our deepest heartfelt dreams that hold purpose and meaning. These heartfelt paths lead us to experiencing an existence of fulfillment and liberation. We are meant to walk freely and work within the organic flow of all dimensional planes that embrace us and encourage us to be the liberated expressions of authenticity and truth. There are some cultures that raise their children to listen and follow the song of their soul heard within their heart, and only pursue what feels organic according to the structure of their own unique and beautiful truth of authentic expression. Unfortunately, the mundane world considers these cultures to be primitive and out of touch with quote-unquote the real world. And this third dimensional mindset has placed them as being behind the times or out of touch with reality. But that mindset is the illusion and is what is in opposition of universal truth and flow. But this is typically what people say when anything goes outside of the box and doesn't feed the perpetuating will of industry or production. We all have the right to choose who and what we want to be in this life. That is our divine right of free will. And just because it doesn't make sense to other people doesn't mean that we shouldn't pursue it. Sometimes we choose paths that are not leading us to being the best versions of ourselves, but then again, it's a learning process. We come here to learn and grow and evolve. And this too has purpose. Our less than desirable decisions still teach us something valuable about ourselves. And we must learn how to embrace these lessons as forward progress in our journey of self-mastery. Fight against the grain of conformity, control, and compliance, and choose to honor your heart and follow your own paths of unique expression this world will benefit from experiencing. We always have time we require, and we will never feel this nagging pull of ego, running around scared of missing the small window of opportunity or time, when we're listening and following the song of our soul and expressing our unique qualities and abilities in a manner that honors our heart, we will never feel like failures, and we will never feel like we have wasted time when we're not operating from ego states of old programming. Time is linear, but we as divine beings are not, and have the capacity to transcend the confines of time. We have full control of time and how it is always working to our favor. We just need to shift out of ego-driven mindsets that disconnect us from our hearts, which is what it means to work in the flow of the universe. We work in the flow of the universe, and all is working to our favor, even time. When we stop abandoning our hearts to pursue what our minds think is more important than what our heart seeks to express. To work in the flow of the universe, or the universal favor, we must elevate our states of consciousness. I speak so much about the growth process and how important it is to remember our soul essence, because this is a pathway that pulls back the veil of illusion so that we can see potential, limitless potential in every imaginable aspect. Opening our hearts and allowing love to flow is what ignites our remembering and returning to wholeness states of soul essence and potential. Our willingness to expand our awareness and accept our responsibility in the growth and expansion journey of self-mastery requires exploration of self and venturing into the shadows internally to elevate our states of existence externally. All these principles work in harmony, one with the other, one leading to the next level, until we transcend ego and ascend into higher dimensional states of consciousness that embodies connectedness and oneness, so we can walk within all dimensional planes of potential. Okay, so I know there are a lot of you thinking right now about how this is really valuable information, but you're struggling to see how following your heart is possible at this stage in your life, because you have been going against your heart for so long and have built a life that requires you keeping your hands on the wheel nonstop, even though the life you're living isn't fueling your spirit. I understand your concerns, I really do, and you're not alone. There are a lot of people this mindset applies to. I just want to say to all of you, please do not allow your fears to stop you, because you know firsthand what this type of mindset will lead you. Because not listening to your intuition and not following your heart is what got you on this path of living a life that really doesn't bring you joy and definitely does not support you expressing your uniqueness, pursuing your talents, utilizing your higher abilities, speaking your truth, or living authentically according to the rhythm of your heart. Fear of rejection, fear of disapproval, fear of change, fear of disappointing others, fear of the possibility of materialistic prestige being compromised. There are always fears that surface when we're embarking on the unknown and when we're confronting change. Maybe you're neck deep in debt. Maybe you have a family that relies on your financial support. Maybe the potential opinions of others are enough to allow yourself to withdraw any aspirations of making changes. And it is part of your thought process to just think that you've missed the boat or missed the window of opportunity in this lifetime. There are always reasons we can come up with to not follow our hearts and continue settling for less. I know that you think that you're trapped, but you are only as trapped as you believe yourself to be. Everything is possible. Just as you have built a life that you're not happy with, you can unbuild that life and restructure your life to allow love, light, joy, peace, and fulfillment in. Your responsibility in this is absolute belief in yourself to accomplish the adjustments that are going to be required. It is not impossible. Change is not the easy path at times, but if we always allow opposition to seem larger than our will to live a life of freedom, then we will never allow ourselves the right to follow our hearts and express ourselves authentically. I turned my life upside down, and I mean completely. We all process through cycles of death and rebirth throughout our journey. It signifies the ending or breaking of cycles and the new fresh beginnings that spring forth because of our willingness to end karmic cycles and old patterns of programming and letting go of anything shadowing our light and prohibiting our growth and expansion. We must shed the old to make room for the new. And I got to the point where I was utterly sick of the suffering, and I was creating this in my life as a result of my lack of confidence and trust in myself and ignoring my higher intuitive guidance until finally I surrendered my ego, explored the inner core of my shadows, and faced and resolved my fears to elevate into higher states of consciousness and integrate with my higher self, to follow my heart, embrace my passions, and allow myself to have a voice and speak my truth. And allowed the channel to open fully to exercise my higher abilities to be experienced in the world through my unique frequency of authentic expression. I made huge lifestyle changes. Some were overnight and some adjustments took a little longer, but I stayed in a committed, positive flowing state of forward movement of alignment with my heart. And I am happier than I have ever been in my life, and I am grateful. I have also known friends who flipped their lives upside down to secure a future that offers themselves freedom, peace, fulfillment, and joy. Nothing is impossible. You must get real with yourself and ask yourself, do I feel I am worthy of happiness and freedom from all that is stifling my light, from all that is suppressing my ability to love in expansive and dynamic ways? Am I worthy of living a life that reflects the best version of myself? Because honestly, that's what it all boils down to. If you love and accept yourself and feel worthy of peace, love, joy, and have a deep-seated desire to experience heartfelt meaning and purpose and manifest fulfillment into your reality to be experienced every day, then nothing will stop you from attaining it. How much are you willing to change to experience a life of happiness? Only you can decide the answer to that question. You have already tried it the other way, and obviously you're miserable. So change will be what places you on the path of liberation. It is so important to focus on all the things in your control to change, and not focus on all the things you think are so impossible to accomplish. We must always manage what we are focusing on internally and make sure we are focusing on the positive potential and not the negative obstacles. We all must make adjustments, no matter how large or small, in our lives to support our right to be free and live life according to our own terms. Like mentioned earlier, I too have made changes and let go of a lot of things, but the things that I let go of were definitely not making me happy. So at some point, that really becomes very easy to let go of when you're utterly sick of the suffering. We all define what success is and what it looks like in our own unique lives. Allow yourself the right to just start making small changes and start making room to adjust schedules and obligations to allow you the freedom to follow the authentic ways your heart wants to be expressed. Do what you love, and do not overthink or worry about all the details of how it will work out. If you are being true to yourself and listening to your intuition and following your heart, it will all work out to your favor. We all owe it to ourselves to listen to the song of our soul that sings through our hearts and follow it without hesitation. Thank you so much for listening. Please take a moment and subscribe to my channel. Like this video, share it with someone who you feel could benefit from this, and click the bell to receive future notifications on upcoming videos. Bye for now.